welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica Long, and we have Executive Director with the Port of Morgan City. We have Mac Wade. I am still a little flustered because there's so many questions I want to talk about. We've got a lot to go through, the first of which, dredging. And that always seems to be at the top of the list. Every time you come here, you're kind of synonymous with dredging.
Yes.
And it's really good. Like, I mean, monies are flowing just like the water's flowing. So let's talk about the dredging projects.
Danica, that's a good place to start. In the last 3 to 4 months, we had 4 dredges operating. We are down to 2 right now. Our 3rd dredge left this past Tuesday. It was a core dredge that came in and worked Berwick Harbor. We had a couple groundings there in the last several weeks. That's because the river's fallen, Mississippi River's fallen. So the Corps was going to send the Jadwin down, but then there was problems on the Mississippi. It got called back. It was on its way to us. When it got to Baton Rouge, they sent it on down the river, and it was gone. Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Corps called and said this was like on I think it was like on a Wednesday. They said, guess what? The Jadwin's going to leave the Mississippi. They got what they needed done. It's going to come to Morgan City, and you'll probably get it for 3 to 4 weeks, which we needed it in Berwick Harbor and Stouts Pass. Well, the dredge did come in Friday before last, and it worked 4 days in Berwick Harbor. It worked where we had the groundings up there around Conrad's, where you're coming down the river. There were a couple groundings there. So they were able to go in there. We needed a lot longer, but we knew we only had a short period of time, 7 or 8 days at the most. So was able to go in there and save that corner off, got it cleared up. So
why are we having so many groundings? What's going on?
Water's fallen. Water's fallen. Yeah. Then it went up to Stouts Pass. We had a couple groundings in Stouts Pass. They were only able to dredge at the very north end of it. The middle part of Stouts was okay. And they were dredged for about 2 days there, and then they went down to the bottom of Stouts Pass where we had one grounding there, and they were able to at least get those trouble areas out of the way. Okay. We needed them to be there for several weeks. Mississippi called, they had to take the dredge, and it left this past Tuesday morning. But that one's gone, but we had the RM White working for us, a Manson dredge. It was working down in the Bar Channel with Bryce. It left about a month and a half ago since the last time I was on here. But when it was there, it had moved over 5.7 million yards of material. That was about $17 million. Bryce continues to work the Bar Channel. He said, well, Mac, you said they were in the Bar Channel. That's right, because Bryce has got our Bar Channel. It's 400 foot wide.
I mean, we are at tip-top shape. I don't know if anyone else has been following KWJ News for a long time when we were actually doing news, sports, and weather, the actual full newscast. And we were at port meetings often. And it was always a fight to get that authorized depth and width. And Bryce has come in here. And I have to, I can tip my hat off to this company, this minority or minority company that has come in here. You guys were able to get the contract with them, and they've been here for how many years now?
They're already their 3rd year. They've been here over 3 years.
That's right, and they have reached 20 feet. Is that right?
Well, really, on the surveys, it's showing 22 foot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
22 foot. Now, in the Bar Channel, I said that other dredge was in here. It was in the Bar Channel. When I had 2 dredges down there, one was running the top one. Bryce was maintaining the 250 foot they got open for us. Our channel's 400 foot. We had this other cutter head come in and start working on this other 150 foot. I said, well, why not let Bryce do that? Because I would start losing. The minute we leave the Bar Channel, that starts filling back in. It's that bad.
Oh my.
But Bryce, once we bring the cutter head in, they've opened it up. Now we've got about right at 300 foot. We're going to bring another cutter head to finish that other 100 foot. Bryce will be able to keep that maintained forever. As long as the money stays there, we will have a 400 foot by 22 foot channel. We're 22 foot right now, 250 foot, 275 wide.
Okay.
So they have done an outstanding job. And then while we're talking about Bryce, they started in 2020, January 2020. We were out there in December of 2019. We did sea trials and all that, and it was a bad proposition. It was not going well. It was problems after problems. But the Corps, between Bryce's determination and the Corps, we persevered through it. And I wouldn't let them stop either.
Okay, the Corps did something right.
That's right.
Come on back. We've got much more to cover, and I promise you it will make a lot more sense when you get back. All right, thanks so much. So. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. The guest for today is Executive Director with the Port of Morgan City, and that is Mac Wade. A flurry of questions right now, and the reason why I told you come on back, because the first time we're talking about dredging and talking about the different areas, well, it's going to make more sense to you now, because I told you my phrase of the day is I don't want to spin my wheels here. I don't want to we're just okay. Yes, we're dredging, we're keeping the water flowing. It all comes back down to what is it good for, right? I mean, we're doing all this because we need commerce. So we got all this water flowing. We have the depth. Are we seeing companies like it? I remember this was a big deal. Purina, Land O'Lakes. Are we attracting companies like that to come here? Because in addition, we've got the east and the west dock that's being expansion. That whole project is underway. We got the water now. We've got the depth. Are we getting the companies?
Danica, the companies are starting to reevaluate the Morgan City area, and over the last 6 months, our fabrication yards are very busy. We have the Navy working down here, the U.S. Navy. We have the U.S. Army working in our area. When I say our area, when I talk at the Port of Morgan City, I talk from basic Calumet Cut to Amelia, Bayou Buff. All those waterways are the Port of Morgan City's jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. Those areas, those companies, you have performance out in Bayou Buff. There's 7 cranes in the air out there right now. In January, there were none. There's over 300 people working, and they're going to 1,000. They're saying within 2 to 3 years, they'll be up to another 500. Why are these people? Why is the Navy here? Because they're working out of our waterways. We finally got our channel open. We haven't had that before, and that was the Achilles heel, but we didn't have it because we didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. It cost a lot of money. We will spend $45 million between now and October. From last October to this October, about $45 million on dredging. Danica, we used to get 6.
I ain't heard those numbers.
No, I don't even know how to add the numbers that high. Yeah. We would get 7, 8 million, mm-hmm. maybe 9 million. Well, what am I going to do with that? The mob and demob just to get you over here was half of that.
That's right.
I even told the Corps one time, give it to somebody who can use it.
And they're here for a week and gone. And I'm like, what? That's spinning my wheels.
That's worse than spinning your wheel.
Yes.
We have got a full-blown dredging project going on right this time. We have the dredging funds. We are fully open from the sea buoy all the way in. And I just want to make sure people realize, well, yeah, you're open now. We've got funding. That 40-something million dollars I'm talking about, that's what we already have. We are getting, we have work plan money. We just received $32 million on top of those millions we already had. We got $32 million out of work plan. There's an IJA fund that came out. It was one of the big bills that was passed up there. Senator Cassidy was very instrumental in getting that. And a lot of people said, well, that supported this, and this, all kind of different stuff, but there was things in there for Louisiana. There were things in there for the Corps. We work with the Corps. Our funding comes through the Corps, but Congress has to give us the money. And in that bill, we got 42 million. I just said we got 32. Well, Mac, is it 32 or 42? No, we got them both.
Okay, yeah.
I can't even add those numbers.
Yeah.
4 hours after we got that call, we received the 42 million. The president's budget came out, $62 million.
Okay. So
now,
we should
32,
have
42, 62.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting what we're doing, this 40-something million we're spending right now, but because these businesses rely on that, and we got that channel open.
Awesome. Well, that answers the questions about are we attractive?
Yes.
And I think with that kind of money and keeping consistent dredging,
That's right.
we should definitely have some businesses
Consistency,
coming in here.
reliable. We have not been that.
Yes. Now we look. We're talking so much. We're getting to the end of this segment, but I definitely want to talk about the East and the West.
Yes, yes.
Expansion project over at the dock, and that's huge also.
Yes.
We've been talking about this for now some time, but it's still in the works.
Yes,
and
yes,
That in
yes.
itself
I wanna
requires
give- yes,
some money too.
yes,
So
yes.
and let's talk about maybe some tonnage and toll reports
Yep.
because I know typically Miss Cindy she comes and she talks
Yes,
about that. So
yes.
we'll get to all of that. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back. Let's get right into it. I don't want to lose any more time. East and West Dock expansion project at the Port of Morgan City. You're kind of doubling in size, right?
Danica, it's been in the works for a while. It took funding. It's been a combination of working with the state. Our East Dock, we're working on it right now.
And what phase are we in at this point?
In fact, the East Dock right now is about 33% complete.
Okay.
They're driving the big piles, the concrete piles that people barely see them coming into town. We got like 110 piles, 105 foot long. That's being done. We're maybe about a third of the way through on the project. We will finish that by the end of the first quarter of 2024. That's about a $6.2 million investment in the Port of Morgan City and in Morgan City right here. Sea Level is the contractor. They've got the workforce. T. Baker Smith's doing the engineering for us. That project's going on. It's going to give us a lot more laydown area, a tremendous amount of laydown area. Then you mentioned the West Dock. The West Dock is a $30 million project. Well, Mike, where's that money coming from? Well, the port's putting up some money. We're putting up a piece of that. We got $15 million from port priority funding through DOTD. $15 million. We're putting up around $3 million. I was going to be short because we knew it was a $30 million project. How are we going to fund this other phase? Well, the good Lord was shining on us, all I can say, because MARAD came in, the Maritime Administration.
Right.
They gave us $10 million. Now I've got $28 million.
This is really good. Like
it's hard
all I
to
hear is
believe.
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I love it. Now we're gonna have the docking space.
Yes.
But what about are we gonna have office space? Because I know right now I think it's Bryce and the Coast Guard.
Bryce and the Coast Guard, Customs is over there, and another
Okay.
company's over there. And another thing, that's $28 million. I said I needed 30. Well, Senator Brett Island
Okay.
last week at the closing of the session last week was able to get us $2.5 million out of capital outlay. So the $6.2 million is totally funded. We got the money that's being spent right now on the East Dock. The $30 million that we got, we're going through engineering, design, and permitting right now. That construction will probably start at the end of 24.
Okay.
But I've got to get the permits and all that first. First things first.
I don't like to talk politics, but get that money. We got the election coming up.
That's
Go
right.
ahead and secure those funds.
Listen, when I get it, I don't give it back.
That's right. It's already earmarked. It's already set aside. But I know I'm just trying to move a little fast here. But where are we going to? What about office space? Because you got to welcome.
This is a totally port project and everything. Now we've got some office space, but we're not building any new offices. But we're going from 800 foot of waterfront on the JIWW to 1,900 foot. When we get through, we're going to have the whole project, the whole port's going to be about 33 acres.
That's right, because you have some land.
Across the land,
That's
yes.
right.
We have rail coming in. We got 15 rail cars there today. So things are starting to happen, but it all goes back to our waterways. Keeping those waterways open. You said consistency. We never were consistent. You were open today, I'm closed tomorrow. Well, how are you going to run a business like that? That's why people weren't coming in. But these companies that have come in, they're all on the water because they know they're going to be there today, tomorrow, next week, next year, and the following years.
Okay, I love it. Awesome. Well, I want to talk about good old Foley Island. Can we talk about Foley Island?
I'm glad you brought that up. Foley Island is doing very well. Of course, you
And
can't.
can we do a very quick recap of what Foley Island
Yeah,
is?
Foley Island is down around Crew Boat Cut. Foley Island, we pumped 8.5 million yards on Foley Island 3 years now. And I'm glad to say all 8.5 million yards are still there. It didn't wash back in the channel because the Corps dredged it a different way. We put it up in the wood line and walked it out towards the river. It's still there. It's hard to see because the vegetation is 8-9 foot high on it.
I mean, the birds
All
have
the
made,
bird-
now
oh,
you got
yeah,
wildlife,
yeah.
all these things have grown on this. And really quick, like one thing about St. Mary Parish, we are growing. Whereas other, parishes around us, they're losing land. We're
That's
growing,
right.
and Foley Island is indicative of that. So come on back. We've got one last segment to go. Come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back, Talking Fast yet again. Foley Island. I'm just going to end it with that. End on Foley Island again. Something that I mentioned before we left. I mean, we have land, and we are cultivating it, whereas other parishes are not. And you made a very good point during the break that the commercials that I remember these commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Louisiana loses a football field
Every 30 minutes.
30 minutes, right?
I close that with, we make an end zone every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We have created thousands of acres of land, not wetlands, of land down below, from Crew Boat Cut down below, probably 25,000 plus acres, because we got Wax Lake Outlet right next to us, which is the Calumet Cut, which is about 10,000 acres. And that's never been touched by a dredge. That's all Mother Nature's done that.
Now, I got to ask you this one because I did promise someone I would ask you this question. They were concerned about dredging. And I said, well, according to what I know, and I've been told and I've seen with my own eyes, that there are dredging efforts going on. However, the question is, are we being slighted monies? Doesn't sound like it, but I'm going to ask anyway. Are we being slighted monies because of the war efforts, like Ukraine? What's going on? Are we getting everything we're supposed to get?
I'll say this, those numbers I just rattled off, could they have been higher? Maybe they could, but I'll take it. I count my blessings. I'm very thankful for what we got. We've got a lot of money. Could it be more? I don't know, but we've never seen this kind of money before. The $32 million, I wouldn't get that in a year. You could put 2 years to get my best 2 years, I didn't get that. 32 million, 42 million, and 62 million. So could they give it? If they want to give it, we'll take it. Yeah. We'll find a use for it. We got dredging needs. We definitely got the dredging needs, but our dredging needs, the Corps, and listen, everybody cusses the Corps, blames the Corps for everything, but they have been our friend. They have stuck with us, and especially with Bryce, what we've accomplished down there. I think you're going to see some big news hitting the paper, hitting websites on what's going on with Bryce and what they're fixing to be. They're up for some awards.
Awesome.
We are doing something down there, Danica. We're using a mechanical dredge that's agitating the material. And, well, Mike, you just sucking it up, yeah. But then we're working with Mother Nature. We let the tides, the currents, and the winds take it. And the environmentalists love it. This thing is up for several awards. Finally, we're getting our due. But it's moved over 250 million yards of material through that pump system.
Yeah.
That's just mind-boggling.
No, again,
but the Corps stuck with us. They could have quit on us, but they didn't, Danica. But they do. The Corps is responsible.
Well, Bryce has also proven itself. Let's,
They didn't quit on us.
Yeah,
they didn't quit.
Yeah.
I thought, I might as well pack it up. But no, they never gave up.
That's right.
Corps didn't give up on us. I had my doubts at times, but I said, no, let's rally the troops again.
Well, you know how the government works. They got to study and see things for a while. So at least they got it right this time.
That's right. They did. They did.
And while I have you here, let's talk about Bayou Chene. I mean, that project is
good.
Moving. And
everybody knows Bayou Chene around. Everybody knows about the Bayou Chene floodgate. We are dredging in the Chene right now. The Crosby has a dredge that's been in there since probably around the first of the year. That's going to be there at least till August or September. It's about a $17 million contract. We have dredged the Shane. I think today they've moved about 6 million yards of material, and it will continue dredging. Bayou Shane, there were spots. It was good spots, bad spots, good spots, bad spots. We're getting the Shane cleaned. We haven't dredged it, like I say, in years. Our whole system, with this amount of money I was talking about, anything you got that's supposed to be 20 foot deep, 400 foot wide, the Corps is going to see to it we get it.
And we got to stay on top of that. We have a new structure down there. We have this floodgate. So
That's right.
we can't let this go by the
No,
wayside.
no,
so
no,
you got
no.
all this money in this floodgate.
Yes.
Let's keep the waterways
That's right.
dredged.
And Danica, by dredging the Shane, they were always worried about protecting the parishes up
That's
above.
right, yeah.
By dredging the Shane, it's going to help the water flow out quicker instead of backing up on the people up above us.
We don't hear that anymore.
No,
We don't get
that's
those
right.
complaints. So thank you so much. As
you for
always, it's
having me,
been very
Danica.
interesting, and I hope that you learned something from this as well. Always a pleasure to have you. Come on back anytime. We hope that you come back as well. We'll see you guys next time.